Dynamite, dynamite.
I get this one explode.
Get down!
Dynamite.
Well. How we doing, everybody? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I wanna talk about something. Yay. Y'all didn't know I could do it like that, did y'all? You gotta warm your voice up. I had some stories I want to talk about in a little bit, but this announcement came up, and it was on my mind, and I was saying to myself, I think it's super important. A few days ago, the private software accomplished a goal of hitting 106 on a hype train on Twitch. Thor is a product of the software development section. He created this department for us, and he took this, and as far as I know, he's the first streamer from our category who has been able to make this his full-time thing. Even though he's making profit off his games, it's very clear now based on his current rotation that he's a full-time content creator. And, clap it up. It's admirable, it's commendable. It's something that, if you're into the whole content creation thing that you want to do, that push of excitement. We got another person from our category, the Primeagen, also deciding to take that leap. So let's have a listen.
I know the writing's been on the wall. I haven't been making videos for this channel in what feels like 6 months. And I just know that I'm letting a lot of you guys down. So it's time. It's truly time for me just to simply say goodbye. And to kind of put a little bit of context on this, I need to tell a quick story. Around February 16th, I was in LA with Thor and Theo, Thor being Pirate Software. And by the way, I'm hugely grateful for being down in LA at that time because that's when the Streamer Awards were happening. And QT actually gave me an invite to be a part of that, which is rather awesome. I can't believe that. Huge honor. Honestly, it feels like the pinnacle of my career. But during that time, Thor handed me something. And he gave it to me for two reasons. One, an accomplishment for being a part of the Streamer Awards. Thank you. But two, to really kind of just tell me, hey, you need to take a chance. Quit betting on safety. Bet on yourself. Take a risk. And for the next 2 months, honestly, I was torn up about this. I have been just thinking about what does my future look like? Am I really giving, my all to this? Because I'm not doing the best work I can on what I've created. And that's because I don't have the time that I really, really need to do that. And during all this, my wife has been hugely supportive. And
if I could for just a second here, he speaks so much truth. And I gotta say, hearing him talk about this struggle, it warms my heart. It warms my heart in a way that you probably won't understand unless you've done content creation. I don't think people really gauge how hard this is not me taking a Hassan Piker hot take. And I'm just making fun. He had a very valid reason. I don't think he just didn't the dismount. It was too much of a splash. He didn't do the little whoop, the little drop. He made too much of a splash. It was sort of like water. One of the fifth goal I had this year was to hire a content manager and an editor and pay them full time off of the income I made from streaming. My goal was, and this was only going to be like for 6 months out of the year. I didn't have enough to employ them full time, but for 6 months out of the year when I'm doing a lot of traveling and a lot of filming and I don't have time to be here at this very desk, I would love to have someone be able to do that and also give someone the ability to financially do that. If you make something, knowing that you have to make it, you have to create it, you have to chop it up, you have to push it out there, you got to change, you got to check the algorithm. It is so difficult. So to hear this struggle subconsciously, I definitely empathize with him and further acknowledged his decision to move forward.
And encouraging, and she's also extremely attractive. I just love my wife. She is awesome. 12 years of marriage, and I still am just like so stoked about her. But so today, April 4th, 2024, I have
Primeagen, blink twice if you're in danger. No, he probably does seriously love his wife. He has like 3 kids, I think, so.
I've officially quit Netflix, and I would just like to say that I have never been more nervous and more excited. And when I told my boss this, he was actually incredibly encouraging. He told me that I have to give it minimum a year. I really need to pursue these things because it is going to just help me overall. And he just gave me a lot of good wisdom during that time. So, hey, Chris Wine, if you're listening, appreciate that a ton. But I've been at Netflix for 10 years, you know? I've seen a lot of change at Netflix. I've been through just so many different teams, so many projects, and honestly, I feel like I couldn't be more blessed. My personal favorite accomplishment there was that I believed that performance logging was really critical. And at that time, there was only this thing we called consolidated logging, and you could not deviate. And I spent over a year going to meeting after meeting with everybody about the importance of allowing aggregated logs for being able to do a bunch of timings and stuff. And it took so dang long. And finally, I just went off and pushed it through a debug logging kind of conduit, then made some Jupyter books and just showed the outcome of it all and showed how I saw on the website.
You can tell he's passionate about it. Look at the glow. Look at the fucking glow on this man as he nerds out about his job. Can you say the same thing about your job? You gotta clap that. Look at how happy this mother lover is talking about work. I save people's lives for a living. And I wake up every morning, I'm like, fuck! No, the truth is, I get frustrated because I have to deal with the bureaucracy. I have to deal with stupid insurance companies. I have to deal with everything else before I can actually get to seeing my patient live. And, you know, I got to be part of that panel that reviewed the documentation for the first kidney transplant for the pig to human. And to see that it went to a brother whose kidney was recovered by one of our surgeons on one of our cases where we took the heart and lungs for that case. And to see that, you know, that kidney transplant he initially got didn't work out for him, but to hear he got a second chance, that is so unheard of. 12 people die every day waiting on that list for a new pair of kidneys. And if you've ever done dialysis, you know it makes people a hollow shell of themselves. But when you see someone who's truly passionate about their work, when you see someone that's truly passionate, look at that man. Look at that man. He's passionate. I'm aroused.
There was a 0.8 second savings from startup time that we could just have because I was able to look at the data, and from there it slowly exploded and went out. Oh man, it's been on every single UI. Super stoked about that. But either way, it's time to say goodbye to Netflix. It's been with me longer than I've been with my kids. You know, this may sound crazy, but my 10-year-old was born after I'd been at Netflix for almost a month. The jump honestly feels really scary. But often, as I've learned throughout life and a lot of just all the endeavors I've been on, the jump always feels scary. And often, the landing is amazing. And so it's good.
I have more I want to say about this, and I think his section of this conversation, I want him to be able to tell his story. So if you want to catch the rest of that, I'll put it in the description. You can watch the whole video there. But I want to take the last thing he said about the fear of jumping off and kind of ride with that and give 3 more ideas in addition to this. I think it's so important to understand how terrifying it is to believe in yourself. We're told at a young age how important it is to go out and be dreamers. And that's why and sometimes it's dangerous because George Bush was told that he could be anything, and that lunatic went on to become the president. If you've ever seen George Bush paint, you clearly know he missed his calling, and instead of becoming a world-renowned artist, he became a war criminal. That's neither here or there. But the importance of believing yourself when it's in the positive aptitude has profound effects on people. And we get to this point in our life where we stop doing that. And we stop doing that because whether it's reality, fear, not enough support, not enough vision, not enough insight, not enough knowledge, not enough backing, whatever it is, we stop. And sometimes being stopped is a real thing that people have to deal with. So understand, one of the greatest, if you've ever seen, and my favorite way of explaining this is Smallville. If you've ever seen Smallville is the hometown of where Superman landed. It's outside of Metropolis. But the relevance of the story of Smallville is so important because here we have the future Superman who is so afraid, so weak, so scared to be this great being we know. And if you've read any comic about Superman, you understand just how great he becomes. But imagine telling Superman at the beginning of his days that you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe you can stop that bullet. You have to believe you're faster than a train. You have to believe you can leap tall buildings in a single bound. That in itself is a psychology and a barrier that we created for ourselves that literally make it harder on ourselves. So getting out of your own way is step number one. And for him to have been able to do that, once again, kudos. Like, it's super commendable. Number two, the thing that I think you need when you're going to make a jump like this, you need a community. He can't do this alone. And he goes on to thank his wife. He thanked his boss in this video, which kudos to that boss. Could you imagine your superior of 10 years patting you on the back and pushing you to be greatness? Could you imagine? Could you imagine having that level of support? And I say this all the time. You guys are amazing to me. You guys show up here for these streams, and we started off as a ragtag group of people, but I mean, strangers or not, man, it makes a difference. But the support has to come from everywhere, from your loved ones, from the people you work with, from the people who are perfect strangers to you on the internet. But most importantly, he does something where he thanks Pirate Software, Thor, for pushing that into his mind. And sometimes and I'm 110% belief in this, you gotta have someone in your corners that's gonna push you, as uncomfortable as it is. And I'm raising my hand right now. If me and you on close terms, I'm always gonna be pushing you. If the moment you tell me you have a goal or a plan in mind, I'm not gonna stop asking you about it. I'm gonna be checking up on it. I'm gonna be looking forward to the announcement. I think I have that effect on people. I make people believe by watching me that it is possible. And I like that. I'll take that role. It's awesome. And then I think the last thing that I really say, and this one is like the time it takes to accept greatness. Most people are biding their time till they fail. When I think you should be biding your time till you become great. That simple switch of, instead of being on defense, you're on offense, makes all the difference. Primeagen will succeed if he attacks this every day like his life depended on it. The moment he becomes lethargic or lackadaisical in his approach, he will get counterpunched. And I don't know if any of y'all have ever been in a fight. There's nothing worse than having your guard up and still getting knocked the fuck out. You have to be on the attack. That's the only way you win. Defense wins championships only in the NFL. Everywhere else, you better be able to fight. So, believe me when I say this. Every time you like, every time you share, every time you comment, every time you show up on time, every time you show up late, every time you show up, the donations, every aspect of it makes it more possible for the person you're trying to support. And in this day and age, if you had told me when I was 12, 13 that I'd be on the internet and people would be watching me, I'd be kind of perplexed by it. But the passion that I've ascertained from being able to create content, like I said, it's a little bit of a tingle. It's a little bit of a tingle. And I get excited that I get to learn and make content at the same damn time. I feel like I'm cheating the system somehow. But, all that being said, as much as I would love to glaze his wonderful mustache, no Diddy, once again, congratulations. Clap it up. One more time, Primeagen. Hey, he's actually a fan of the show. He's rated here before. I need to approach this with a little bit more gravitas. Primeagen, friend of the show, thank you so much for showing us that it is possible, and we greatly appreciate the contributions you've made to it. A pillar of the community.